Hi, I'm your host, Eliana, and welcome to this week's episode of your Vibe Tribe podcast. Today's episode is all about how your spending habits are ruining your life. Before we jump into this week's episode, I just wanted to give you guys a quick reminder. If you're not already subscribed, take 2 seconds to click that subscribe button and click that follow button. That way you are always in the loop whenever a new episode launches. This is why your shopping habits are ruining your life. I want to touch on a huge fact that a lot of women have very, very poor spending habits. They are the ideal consumer. And as someone who works in marketing, I am very aware of marketing tactics and just societal tactics in general and how women are extremely targeted when it comes to consumerism. And this episode is all about giving the community and listeners of your Vibe Tribe podcast the tools and also just like the awareness and knowledge to help improve your day-to-day lives, but also your future livelihood. I really want to dive into how your consumerism and how your spending habits are potentially affecting and impacting your life. I am very aware of how women are targeted in society and how companies and brands specifically target women and their consumerism to increase their spending. They capitalize on trends. They capitalize on how women want to be perceived, and they really are targeting your psychology and your behavior patterns when they're creating these marketing tactics and strategies to make you want to spend more. And if you are not aware on all of these impressions and micro touches that all these brands are using to influence your shopping habits, this is your sign to sit down and start to be more mindful and be more aware of what's affecting your shopping habits and your spending habits. I do think that brands and society in general has kind of coined retail therapy as a thing. There's a lot of capitalization when it comes to beauty standards. There's a lot of capitalization when it comes to trends that are really impacting the way that you shop and the way that you consume. What I see is a lot of brands are capitalizing on the obsession that women have with how they're perceived in society and the obsession to look your best, right? And to feel your best and to show up as this perfect person, right? This perfect woman. Because if we show up as the perfect women, that's how we're going to get ahead in our careers. That's how we're going to find that perfect partner. And that's how we're going to get ahead in life, right? And be the best version of ourselves, right? You've seen it time and time again, how to be that girl, how to dress like that girl. And I feel like all of those trends and all of those societal pressures that we're getting really do impact our spending habits. And I do truly believe that that's why so many women are in severe, severe debt. That's why a lot of women get into toxic relationships that they can't get out of because they can't be financially independent and they're relying on partners. So many reasons why this episode needs to be recorded, why I wanted to sit down and chat with you guys, because I want all of you to take a hard look at your financial decisions right at this very moment and see what you could be doing better. I want to bring some awareness around this topic about consumerism and spending habits, specifically with women, because I want you guys listening to this to be able to get yourself maybe out of a toxic relationship that you're in because you aren't financially independent, or to be able to just stand on your 2 feet and to start making decisions that are going to benefit your future. I want to bring more awareness onto things that you're consuming and things that you're doing that are affecting your spending habits that you might not even be aware of. And I also want to share that I am coming from a place of also having experienced all of these things, all of these societal pressures. Now coming into my late 20s, I've really felt like I have such a better grasp of my spending habits and my values and what's important to me. And I'm so much more aware of things like budgets and really the value of the things that I purchase. And I've found a way to ask myself certain questions that bring a lot more awareness into the purchases and the spending decisions that I make. And so I do want to share share that because when I was younger, I remember living with a roommate and it was like my first corporate job. I just had no idea of how much money was coming in my account. My first job, I made about $40,000 a year, which for me, like looking back, $40,000 a year for someone that was like splitting rent with someone, and this was like several years ago. So like things weren't as expensive as they are now, but me splitting the rent with a roommate, I was probably paying about like $900 a month, which is very doable with that salary. Yes, I definitely had to live within a budget, but the main issue of a lot of my financial stress and the reason why I always thought I didn't have enough money was because I literally didn't even know what I was spending my money on. I had zero budget. So I was just spending frivolously. I knew exactly how much money I got every 2 weeks. As soon as I got my paycheck and I paid all my bills, I had like such a small amount of money left. Reason why I had such a lack of money was because I was having all these extra expenses that I didn't know what they were, but really it was because I wasn't really truly living within a budget. I didn't have a grocery budget. I didn't have a spending budget for when I was going out partying and like buying drinks and going out to eat. I didn't have a knowledge base on like what I was even like subscribed to. So I really want to just give you guys some concrete tips that you can start implementing in your life and things that you can start to be more aware of so that you can improve your spending habits and make just more mindful financial decisions. At the end of the day, I want my girls listening to this podcast to feel empowered and feel in control of their lives. And finances is a big part of that. And it just gives you such a peace of mind when you know what the hell's in your bank account, you know how much you can spend, and you just feel more at ease when you're going to go into purchases, when you're going to go into social situations. This will give you so much more peace and clarity in your life and control and security. So what I want you to first start doing is to start recognizing and resisting marketing tactics. And I know I'm a marketer and I feel like I'm going against what I'm trying to do on my 9 to 5, but it's good to just be aware of what's going on, because before I became a marketer, I really was just a consumer. I didn't really realize all of these like micro impressions that these brands and also just social media in general was making on my spending habits. So things like limited time offers, I'm sure we all get them. You get email blasts all the time about limited time offers. You might see something on Instagram get marketed to you, right? Like this one of a kind necklace, limited time offer. You're never going to find this necklace. And this is only available. There's only 20 pieces left, right? Like we've all fallen trapped to the limited time offer, whether it's, tactics like when you're shopping at Abercrombie or any other store and they'll list in there 25 other people are purchasing this skirt. And then there's like 5 left. And so what this is a tactic of the company trying to pressure you to make the purchase right at that moment, right? They're trying to get you to not think about it. They're trying to just get you, oh my gosh, this item is in a scarcity, right? Like there is a lack of this item. I need this item now because I'm not going to find it ever again. And we've all been in the situation where we've wanted to buy this, maybe a skirt or whatever clothing article, whatever it is. And they're like, it's limited time offer and you've missed out on it. And then you go back and then the item is sold out and you're disappointed because you're like, oh my gosh, I wanted this skirt so bad and it's sold out. But like, I need you to stop yourself because they are going to make that item again. And if it's not that store, it's another store. Do not let yourself give into this tactic. That denim skirt, you're going to find something similar to it in another store. Maybe not this very second, but maybe in a week, maybe in a month from now. Do not let yourself fall trapped to this limited time offer scam, because it is a scam. There's no way that skirt is one of a kind. You really need to ask yourself, do I really need this denim skirt because it's a limited time offer? Is this brand really not going to do another sale in another 2 months? Because they probably will. These brands do sales for everything. You have to realize when brands are consistently showing up. So for example, I'm sure you've noticed, maybe you'll like an influencer's shirt, right? Maybe they're wearing a specific brand. Okay, once you have an interaction with that brand, most likely you're going to get now a targeted ad for that brand. You're going to get multiple targeted ads because there is technology out there that tracks your behaviors online. So if you click on an ad, it'll track that. It'll be like, okay, this person resonated with this ad. So we're going to try and target her again. And they're going to keep targeting you. So what I want you to just be aware of is don't let yourself fall trapped just because you've seen a brand pop up 5 times to you. It does not mean that you need to make the purchase. So how are you going to be able to stop yourself when these brands are just coming at you left and right? They're sending you emails, they're sending you text alerts, and you're like, Elena, how am I supposed to not make this purchase? This is what I do to help myself just check myself a little bit and kind of put a stop to just the instant gratification of, I want this, I'm going to buy it. So what I do is, let's say I've been targeted and they keep showing me ads. What I do is I'll go to the website. I'll add a bunch of things to my cart. I look at the total of everything that I want. I'll be like, okay, this is the total. This is how much I want. Let me go to my spending budget, because I have a budget. And if you don't have a budget, I'm going to need you to just stop this episode right now. And I need you to just go to the drawing board and figure out what your financial budget is for the month. That's the first step. Okay. Now let's go back. Let's say that you already have your budget. I want you to look at your budget for your shopping budget or whatever your budget for the month is. So what I do is like, okay, I want to spend $200, right? The total of my shopping cart is $200. I'm going to look at my budget really quick. It looks like I'm at my budget for the month. Yeah. So it looks like I'm going to have to wait till next month to make this purchase because I don't currently have the money right this very moment to pay what I want to pay for this cart. Or maybe my shopping cart says $200, but I only have $75 left in my shopping budget. So what I'll do is I'll reassess the shopping cart. I'll go, okay, all right, like, do I really need all of these items? No, I probably don't need this. I probably don't need this, right? And then I also look at, okay, what does the rest of the month look like? Because this is week 1 and I'm already $75 left in my shopping budget. And then I ask myself, okay, we're at like the first week. I have 3 more weeks left in the month. Like maybe something better will come along. Like, is this the best I'm going to get right now? What I really want to spend my money on? Or could something more important pop up because I have 3 weeks left in the month? So then I look at the cart and I'm like, you know what? Let me just wait until we get closer to the end of the month. And then I'll reassess. And if I really want it, then I'll get it. I am telling you, 9 times out of 10, I end up not buying anything in that cart because 1, I realize, oh my gosh, that's actually so overpriced. 2, I might find a better bargain for what I originally wanted, or I'll find a better deal, or I realize like, you know what? I don't even really need this right now. What I just wanted you to start doing is to really check yourself and start asking yourself too, like, what is the value I'm really getting from what I'm purchasing is? Does it really matter? Do I really need this? Just implementing that little extra check, right? That is going to help you so much to start being more mindful about your spending habits. Another tool, you want to start delaying your instant gratification. I used to really always just like, oh, I want it, I'm going to buy it. I want it, I get it. I want it, I buy it. Like we've all seen that TikTok song where it's like, I want it, I got it. I want it, I got it. And it's like, no. Those girls are in debt. They're in severe debt. And like, if you don't want that to be you, you need to start delaying that instant gratification you get when you buy something. I used to be an Amazon shopaholic. Like when I tell you I would get a package, like multiple packages every week. I used to just buy anything that I saw on Amazon all the time. I would see any influencer post it and I would think, I want it. I need it right now. So what I've been doing is instead of making impulse purchases on Amazon, what I'll do is I'll look the item up on Amazon, right? But instead of adding it to my cart or making the purchase right away, I'll add it to a favorites list. And when I tell you, the favorites list almost makes me feel like I am purchasing the item, but I'm not. I'll put it in my favorites list. When I'm have the budget to purchase something again, then I'll revisit it and be like, okay, like my budget opened up. I have money to spend this month. And then I'll revisit my favorites list. And I honestly, most of the things on those lists are items that I'm like, I don't need this. Like this definitely would have been an impulse buy if I would have bought it. And I probably would have regretted buying it once it got to my house. Just trying to delay a little bit of that instant gratification is really going to help you spend less and limit a lot of those just like impulse frivolous purchases that you don't need. And as much as social media and these influencers, because trust me, I'm an Amazon influencer. Like I am also here linking products, but your life isn't going to end if you don't buy that skirt, if you don't buy that makeup. Like you don't need 20 blushes. If you're the girl buying 20 blushes, those blushes are going to expire and you won't have even used 5 out of the 20. The third option that has helped me immensely in spending less is unsubscribing. And when I say unsubscribe, I don't just mean to your email. I mean also maybe limiting your exposure to content creators and people in your life that are causing you to make these poor spending habits. If you have a friend that's always telling you, buy that designer, oh my gosh, you're gonna not regret this, like it's just so worth it. I'm sorry, but $1,000 purse is never worth it, okay? Unless you're reselling that Chanel bag, it's not a good investment. Unsubscribe to emails that you're constantly getting. I do this regularly. I unsubscribe. Every time I'll go through 2 times a year, I will sit through my emails, unsubscribe to things, mailing lists that I've signed up for that are sending me constant ads, because a lot of times those emails that you're getting are affecting your purchases and urge you to buy more, and then you typically spend more. Unsubscribe to any influences in your life that are influencing you to make poor spending decisions. So maybe limiting friends that are negatively impacting your spending. If you have a friend that's always urging you every single weekend to just go to expensive restaurants and spend a ton of money on drinks, like maybe that's not the best influence, and maybe you should limit those interactions so that you feel more empowered to make mindful spending decisions. I've unsubscribed to a lot of influencers that are constantly just urging me to buy and buy and buy and buy. And I'm following more content creators and influencers that are giving me finance tips and helping me spend better, because that's what I want to do, right? That's what I'm in line with right now. And the more that you consume content to spend, that's what you're going to do. The more you subscribe to content that's like save, be more mindful, that's what you're going to do. All right, guys, that's it for this week's episode. I really want to encourage you to, after this episode, sit down and just take 5 minutes to, if you don't have a budget for your month, create a budget for your month, create an Excel spreadsheet, go through your statements on your bank, find out what you're paying, where your money is going, what your subscriptions are, how much you're spending every month on items, and it will encourage you to make more mindful decisions. I hope this episode was helpful, and I hope that these tips are helping you guys live a more mindful life. If you're enjoying your Vibe Tribe podcast, please share it with your network, with your family, with your friends, especially if you found this episode helpful. It really does help your Vibe Tribe podcast grow. That's it for this week's episode, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.